Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, we're going to be talking about power pads. Do they really provide power, or are they just a pad? Stay tuned. All right, guys, so coffee sponsor of today is the Velasco family. So my man Paul just walked in here and said, "Pete's card for you." My wife said, "We need to hook you up with some coffee because you're bringing some joy to our family." And I'm like, okay, thank you. Paul's wife, thank you to the Velasco family for hooking me up with the coffee. So what did I do? I took the card over to Pete's and got my dark roast. All right, so Paul was telling me, yeah, my family's, we're building a new house and we're building a tennis court. And I'm like, that must be nice. And I got an open invitation to go out there, hang with the family, have a couple brews, and maybe hit some balls. So, hey, can't wait, my man. So let me know when it's ready. All right, if you want to be my coffee sponsor of the day, network is buymeacoffee.com/tennis spin. All right. Thank you again to the Velasco family and Paul's wife for hooking it up. If you want to support the channel, super thanks is the way. Click on the link below. You can contribute as much or as little as you like. Thank you guys so much. All right, guys. So, I'm going to talk, hold on. So we're going to be talking about this thing here. It's a leather lace. You can use it for a lot of things, if you know what I mean. But we're not talking about that today. We're talking about tennis, like we always do, okay? Now, Fed, as you know, all right, so those little pads there, they are leather pads, okay, which is essentially this strap just cut up and placed under there. It's called a power pad. People call it a power pad. Why is it called a power pad? Does it provide power? I'll have to give that one a test drive. But I want to say the last 30 years, 20 years, I've done way less and less of power pads because I'll show you on a wooden racket. If you look at that one right there, how the angle is. If it's on this one or that one, if the pad wasn't there, the angle would be too sharp and the racket could cut that string. So I've always thought that the pad would make a little circle so it wasn't such an extreme angle. Now, if you have an old wooden racket lying around, this pad would have been plastic, and it would have been two circles or half circles laying flat here with the center is where the string would come through. So, and that would, my guess, do the same thing, like not have such an extreme angle of the string so that the frame actually doesn't cut the string prematurely. So I've always thought that that was the case, and that's why people put them in there, until I heard the name power pad. In my years of doing power pads, I didn't have the lace. This is kind of a new thing for me because of Fed. We used to just take old grip like this or a leather grip that we found in the trash that was old, and we would trim it. We would cut like maybe ½ an inch off of the end, and we would roll it, and then we would shove it in there to have a nice little round curvature. And that's what people call a power pad. But no matter what you do, you know, it's something that has to do with this area. You know, Pete Sampras used to use it. Some people actually did it out on the sides, even on the graphite type of rackets like that. So my guess was that Fed used it because it's gut on the main and he wanted that curvature there, or it's a mental thing that softens up the racket, because obviously the gut vibrates and it may stop some of the vibration through here since he doesn't use a dampener. Okay, so he may use it as a slight dampener that takes out some of the vibration. Okay, but not a lot of people on tour use it. I think he and Del Potro, when he was on tour, used it too, from what I'm hearing from some of you guys. Because I got actually a bunch of questions from you guys about power pads. That's why I'm doing it on this subject. So what did I do? So I took my Blackout Extended and put power pads on mine. So this is what I normally string it with. Solinco Confidential, 55 pounds, 16L. So I should know how this plays without them. But now I'm going to do it with them and see how it goes. So during the week, I actually took Coach Andrew Goo's racket too, strung it with his normal string, and put power pads on his too. So he's been playing with it all week. I've been playing with this for one day. So let's see if we can convene and talk about it together. Okay? Stay tuned. All right, so Coach Goo's been hitting with the power pad since...
Basically, you can tell it's...
The string broke.
The string broke. I have played with it for...
So the life of the string is done.
Yes.
You got a full feel with the power pads.
That is correct.
Have you ever had power pads before?
No.
New.
It's the only one time was because we played with the Fed racket.
That's true.
If you guys remember that.
That is true.
But
now,
that's it.
Since you are so used to your racket without power pads,
yes.
How did it feel with power pads?
It definitely felt different. I don't know how to describe it, but it definitely felt like when I hit the sweet spot, it generated a lot more pace than I expected it to. It did dampen a little bit, but not in a bad way. It did dampen the fact that if I hit it clean, I felt the ball kind of go through easily. But it definitely generated some power, more than I expected. And actually, it didn't sacrifice that much control, which was great. Because usually, I don't know, for me, it felt like I can generate power easier and just let it go. But even on the ones I couldn't reach, actually, like on the runs and stuff, it was actually a lot easier to generate, in my opinion.
Interesting. Did you use a dampener with the power
No
pads?
dampener.
No dampener.
No dampener. I just used how I play it.
Wow. So would you say it was 2% more power, 5% more power, 10% more power?
I would say 2 to 5.
2 to 5. Okay.
Especially on the run, you feel the difference. Like for me, defending, slicing was a lot easier. It definitely got off, especially I felt it on the slice. That's what I felt it. When the slice came through, it definitely gave it a little more pop. But yeah, I mean, there is a little difference. There is a difference that you could feel, put it that way.
Interesting. So I felt a little bit of dampening. I didn't really feel power though. That's the thing. I felt like if you were to tie a rubber band right here, that would be what it would feel like for me. Like the Andre Agassi dampener is kind of like what this feels like. I really didn't feel the power. I mean, obviously, I'm not as good as you to feel that extra 2%. So maybe I felt 0.1%, if anything like that. But other than that, I didn't really feel a huge difference with or without. With it on, I just felt like I said, like a slightly dampened feel. So would you continue with the power pads, or would you? Would it not matter?
I mean, I probably would have to play with it more, in my opinion, in order to like really judge it or play competitively again.
Right.
But it was an interesting experiment, and I did feel a difference. Maybe if I was still playing, I would probably give it a shot, keep experimenting more with it. But I could see why like Fed used it, because I mean, it gave him like the racket gave him so much power, and I assume this played a factor in it, and that's why he had it for so long, I assume.
Well, plus the gut was on the main, so
plus,
maybe you know it helped with the breakage.
That's probably
here.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, with the poly, I mean there is like we both said, there is, you could feel a difference.
Right.
But I would say maybe I would play with it. I'm not sure.
So not enough to say
not
definitively, I want this again.
Yes, not definitive. Yeah. So basically, I would just say it'd be a fun experiment to play around with.
Okay. All right. So at least Gu didn't say, yeah, I want to keep doing it. So it's that minuscule of a difference that, you know, if we had power pads or not power pads, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference, if at all.
True. I would say it just tailors to the player. It really comes down to if the player likes to have it on,
your mental state of mind. If you believe, then it shall come true. If the power pads can win your match, then you go on and believe and you keep doing it. So you get bagelled and then you throw it out the window.
That's like you.
Exactly. I just throw everything out the window eventually. Thank you, Coach Gu, for going through with this experiment with me.
Of course. Thank you.
Where can they find you, bud?
You can find me at agu.tennis. I'll also be posting content there as well.
Guys, thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Sky, great playing today, man.
Thanks. Good hitting.
Oh, thank you.
My arm doesn't feel right.
Uh-oh. Interesting. I got something. Hang on. See? I don't feel a thing.
Wow. My arm doesn't feel a thing. Feels great.
See? I told you.
All right, Harry. One more shot. I'm going to go real big.
This is great. Yeah.